Hi everyone, my name is Kelly and I am the Study Abroad Coordinator. Thank you for joining us today to learn about study abroad in Rome in summer 2025. Joining us today, we have Professor Ingrid. She will be teaching in Rome and you will be traveling with her. And we'll have a special guest, Paula Messina. She is from AIFS, our program provider. They provide excellent service, including student services, insurance, arrange all the logistics, and she will tell you all about study abroad in Rome. Let's get started.
There we go. I'm unmuted now. Professor Schultz, let me know if you, as I go through it, is that okay with you? Would you like to start us off?
Oh, you have the PowerPoint.
Okay. So I will start, I'll lead us through, and if you have anything to add on every slide, feel free to jump right in there.
Thank you so much, Paula.
Yeah. So welcome and congratulations on your interest in studying abroad. Today we are promoting an amazing program in an amazing city, the Eternal City. This program is a study abroad program in Rome next summer. The dates are June 7th through July 2nd. And the focus of the program are Italian film directors in Rome. So it is an amazing way to get units that count towards your degree, count towards transfer in one of the world's most fascinating, entertaining cities where someplace you'll never be bored. So I'm excited for you. Before we get into all of the program specifics, I did want to highlight aspects of study abroad that you may not have thought of, that may not have occurred to you. Statistics tell us that every year, fewer than 10% of US undergraduates study abroad. So having that experience on your transcript for transfer, having it on your resume later on when you enter the job market with your degree, either your associates or your bachelor's, definitely will set you apart from at least 90% of your peers. It shows admissions officers and employers that you have developed a highly desirable skill set. Things like intercultural competence, that ability to move around in another culture, relate to people from another culture. It demonstrates to them that you're a problem solver, right? Living in another society means living in a whole new set of rules. Every single day is going to be a certain set of challenges, things that you'll have to figure out from the moment you wake up in the morning until you go to bed at night. You're a risk taker. You're more independent than your peers. You're creative. You take initiative. You're flexible and adaptable. Those are two highly desirable skill sets in the workforce. So, you're going to have a series of experiences. You'll have a great set of stories to come back. And when you are in that job search later on, you'll have some great international stories that will help set you apart from your peers. AIFS does outcome surveys. We ask our alumni 5, 10, 20 years post-study abroad experience. Tell us about what that experience brought to your life. 85% of them tell us that that experience was the most meaningful and transformative of their undergraduate, right? It was the thing they thought back of first when they thought back of their college experience. So that is definitely some added value that this experience will bring to you and your future. And then why Rome? I could go on and on in Rome. I think it's probably my number two, besides where I studied abroad myself. I was a former study abroad student. I studied abroad in Spain. Rome has to be my number two city in the world. It is, the Eternal City, right? There's millennium of history there that are at the surface, places that you will go to visit. They're over 2,000 years old, right through contemporary and modern times. There are amazing neighborhoods, amazing places. It's the seat of the Catholic Church, so great, amazing art throughout history. And then the food, the people are fun, and entertaining and welcoming, and it's a great city. Professor Schultz, you lived and worked there, so I would love for you to jump in and tell us why you love Rome.
Well, it's who wouldn't want the backdrop of Rome in their films? And many of the films were shot in the street with various backdrops. And that's one of the assignments we'll have in the class, is to identify the setting and perhaps why the director chose that background to set the stage of that scene. And in addition, there is the Cinecittà Studios, which is the Hollywood of Italy, which is just located outside of Rome, which we will be visiting. So I worked there several years ago, and it's just it's a very humbling experience to be in Rome, to see such ancient history on the streets as you walk by, and yeah, it's a once in a lifetime experience.
Thank you so much. Would you like to tell us about your course?
Yes, so it's Film 130, film directors, for 4 units. It's a 4-unit class, so we're going to be viewing many films and discussing them in order to earn those 4 units. We're going to survey key works by major film directors, but it also includes film history, namely Italian film history and Italian film directors. We have an emphasis on what is called auteur theory. That is, again, looking at the work of the author and what recurring themes we can find in their work, their biography, the film style, the visionary contributions to film history. And there are no prerequisites, and there are several transfer credits, as you can see here.
Wonderful. Kelly mentioned the name of AIFS Abroad. We are a study abroad organization that works in conjunction with the San Mateo County Community College District to set up and run this program. We've been doing study abroad for over 60 years now. So it is, we have a lot of experience sending students across the globe, nearly 2 million students. I myself was an AIFS student back in 1988. When I did my study abroad experience. And that was, a matter of fact, the year that the district began working with us on programs. Unfortunately, I was not a district student. My college was a very small college in New York, and I studied abroad in Spain. But we do have all of these years' experience working with faculty and students from the district on their study abroad programs. And you'll see our forte is that we have local program coordinators. So we do have a main office in Rome, right in the center of Rome near the Pantheon. We have a study center there with classroom facilities. Our student services staff are there. We have a library, student lounge, faculty office, and that is where you'll have formal class time, but then you'll also be able to use our student services staff to ask for any questions or any issues. Anything that arises, you'll always have them to go to resolve any problem that you might have. Speaking of which, this is the main facade of the building. The entire building is not ours. There's some offices in there as well, but we do have a suite there, which is our local student services or study center. You'll have your orientation meeting with them. When you get to Rome, you'll have a local area walking tour to give you the ins and outs of navigating Rome. And then you'll also have your coordinator on call 24/7 if you have any kind of issue. So that's important. I think I don't have I'm sorry, I'm doing a Rome pre-departure tomorrow morning, so I'm getting my presentations on Rome mixed up, but it is really centrally located right near the Pantheon. It's Sant'Andrea del Valle is the name of the piazza that this is located on, and you'll see it is within walking distance to nearly everything. Rome is a large city. It's one of Europe's largest cities, but this is so centrally located that you can walk to the Vatican, Pantheon is right there. You could go get a snack there in between, you know, activities or from class, and you have free time. So you're going to really enjoy being right there in the heartbeat of the center. Included in the program fee are accommodations. So students are housed in shared apartments. Only students from the program will be in the apartments together. There'll be double rooms, twin bedded rooms. So there'll be 4 to 6 students. So they're generally 2 to 3 bedroom apartments. They're not all in the same building. They are in buildings dotted around the center of Rome. They're all within a 30-minute walk or commute to the study center. The apartments there have shared kitchen and living space, laundry facilities on site, which means there's a washing machine in the apartment as well as a drying rack, which is very typical of Europe and of Italy. Linens are included, so you don't have to worry about bringing sheets, blankets, pillows. That's all provided. A Wi-Fi is included. There's internet in the apartments. And then there will also be a travel pass, which is a great feature of this program. So Rome has somewhat developed, it's a small metro system. Remember, a lot of Rome is buried underground. There's a lot of ruins and things. So they don't have an extensive underground metro, but they do have a great bus system. So you will have a travel pass for unlimited travel on both the metro and the bus system for the duration of the program. So that is a great feature. And then feel free, Professor Schultz, to jump in if I missed anything. Culture activities in Rome, a lot included on the program. So you'll have your walking tour of historic Rome, focus on the film sites throughout the city, right? And then there will be a second walking tour with a film and cinema theme as well. You'll have your entrance and guided tour of Cinecittà, and then your guided tour and entrance to the Colosseum, the Roman Forum, and the Palatine Hill with a focus on film. You'll have a ticket to a film viewing at the Cinema Nuovo Sacco. I think that's how they spend studio.
Yeah.
Or it's not a studio, sorry, it's a cinema.
Yes.
Yes, sorry, I didn't remove that studio. And then a visit to the movie library, an Italian cooking class, which is fun. Anything you want to throw in there as well?
No, I think the next slide we'll be talking a bit more about the film area. Yeah. So yes, thank you, Paula. So let's just dig in here. Some of the films, I'm just going to name a few. These are iconic films in film history, and we will be viewing them and discussing them along with many others, but perhaps you've seen them. The Bicycle Thieves was made in 1948 by Vittorio De Sica. There are several films here from the post-World War II era, because that was a moment in film history which really brought Italy into the spotlight internationally. So anyway, Bicycle Thieves is one of them. La Dolce Vita is an iconic film by Federico Fellini. Fellini really loves Rome. We will discover why this idea of Fellini-esque, perhaps you've heard that term. It feels very Fellini-esque. So we'll understand what Federico Fellini meant by that. Also, Paolo Sorrentino, a more recent filmmaker, sort of comments on La Dolce Vita in a film called The Great Beauty in 2013. We also will dig into sort of the underworld of Rome with films by Pier Paolo Pasolini, who is one of my favorite directors, looking at sort of the gritty realism of Rome. And anyway, I'll spare you all the other details. I could go on forever, but I've included a few film stills here in this slide because this will give you an example of one of our mise-en-scène scouting assignments. And if you've taken my classes before, mise-en-scène has been discussed, but if you haven't, it's totally fine. But it's just French for the setting or the staging of a scene. So we will go on scouting assignments and look for the areas in Rome in which certain scenes were shot and why. So that's just one of the many assignments we will have. And then if I can go to the next slide, I think we also mention, I want to bring it up because all of those filmmakers were men. So let's make sure we include some of the female directors like Lina Wertmüller, who was, I believe she was the first to win an Academy Award for nominated for Best Director, first woman. Alice Rohrwacher is a more recent filmmaker, very, very interesting films, and others that have contributed to Italian culture. Although some of these films are not filmed in Rome, they are filmed in Italy, and we will research them as well. Also then, at the next slide, as Paola mentioned, Nuovo Sacre Cinema. We have reserved tickets for film viewing at the Cinema Nuovo Sacre Cinema. It's a famous, newer, meaning, you know, the last 30 years, cinema that is owned by the Italian film director, producer, screenwriter, and actor, Nanni Moretti. Nanni Moretti is another director we will explore and research. So he started this cinema in order to celebrate and show films that were independent, that may have not been big blockbusters, but were artistically noteworthy. So it's a historical moment for us as film cinephiles. And then finally, oh yes, Cinecittà. That's the Hollywood. If you've ever been to Los Angeles and you went to Warner Brothers or one of those studio tours, this is the studio tour for Italy, really. It's we'll get a chance to look at the history of Italian cinema as made in the studios in film. Also, you'll notice that I have on the right-hand side, it's hard to identify, but that is Mussolini. During the fascist era, the Cinecittà studios they actually were introduced in the early 30s. So Benito Mussolini and his son Vittorio were very, very supportive of the propagandistic power of film. So anyway, I won't be giving you a lecture here. We're here just to talk about the program. But finally, I also want to mention in that last slide, we'll have a visit to the library of Umberto Barbera. If you go to the next slide, Paola, please. Thank you. So this is also part of the film school and that's an image of the Centro Sperimentale di Cinematografia. That's the film school in Rome that again was created back in the early 1930s. And Umberto Barbero was a very important intellectual who contributed to Italian film culture and Italian culture in general. So we'll be looking at his work. And then I believe we have another film. If we go to the next slide, oh yeah, second walking tour on a film theme to be announced. So that's basically what we have. There's Ladri di Biciclette. Oh, by the way, there is a if you're new to Italian and want to take an Italian class, Kelly, you mentioned that Skyline has an Italian class for beginners, for travelers, I believe. So anyway, Ladri di Biciclette is The Bicycle Thieves. That's the film, one of the films we will view. And there are some locations of Rome back in the 1940s. And many of these buildings are, well, most of them are still there because they're historical. Also, just on a side note, my friend will be visiting me there who loves cats. And if you love cats, Rome has a special affinity to the stray cats. So you'll probably see a few. They're very beautiful around there. So
All right, so we have a summary slide which gives you sort of everything together. The program fee for a group of 15 to 19 students is $3,845. If we get a group of 20 or more students, and I think we're aiming for a group of almost 25, I think that's our goal. The program fee will come down to $3,595. So that is a great aspect of that. And as we mentioned already, included in the program fee are your accommodation for the duration of the program in shared apartments in a twin room. We have a travel pass for unlimited travel in the public transit of the central zones of Rome for the duration of the program. We have the orientation meeting, access to the study center. We have student services, and then all the activities in Rome that we've talked about already, including your walking tour of historic Rome, your second walking tour on the film theme, your reserved entrance to the Cinecittà Studios, the guided tour of the Colosseum Forum and the Palatine Hill, ticket to the viewing at the Cinema Nuovo Sacre, the visit to the movie library, and their traditional Italian cooking class. You have medical insurance included, which is a great feature. Our medical insurance is comprehensive. It includes any medical care you might need for the duration of the program, up to $100,000 per illness or per incident. And given the cost of medical care in Italy, in Europe, it is a lot, right? Medical care in Europe is quite more affordable than here in the US. And that medical plan will also include coverage up to 30 days after for independent travel, which is a nice feature. If you're planning on traveling after the program in Europe, you'll still have coverage, which is a really great feature. And then we'll also have a pre-departure orientation. So about a month approximately, Kelly will organize the whole day. She may even have it organized already. But we'll have a day where we meet in person on campus and we'll get ready for the program. And you probably have a lot of questions about how to get money out in euros, how to use your phone abroad, all of that good stuff. We will cover that, right, with plenty of time before you leave for your program. What is not included would be your airfare. We will have an optional group flight that I'll talk about on the next slide, or students can book their own airfare. Registration to for your class with your community college tuition and fees will not be included in the program fee. That would be separate. Textbooks are not included. Professor Schultz, do you have anything to add about that?
Thank you. I'm working on having a zero textbook cost, so it will be available online. You won't have to cart along a textbook on the flight. And also, I just want to reiterate, if you don't know already, you want to bring your laptop because we will be working with Canvas, which is typical of the college. So we'll be looking at films as homework assignments, as well as your reading assignments will be on Canvas.
Personal expenses, including passport fees, personal travel are not included. If you don't have a passport already, we encourage you to start that process right away. The lucky thing is that Kelly's office is a passport office. So you can work with her on getting your passports done there or renewed there if it's needed. Most meals are not included, but again, you'll have kitchen access, which will be very budget friendly. And then when you sign up and you pay your program deposit, AIFS will offer or recommend an optional trip protection insurance which is not a medical insurance. This is an insurance plan that will protect your program fees in case of cancellation or interruption. So it's sort of like when you buy electronics at Target and they offer you that protection plan. This would be similar in that if you were to get sick or have to drop out for any reason, that insurance could cover your non-refundable program fees. The optional group package will be round trip between SFO and Rome Fiumicino on the departure dates and the return date for the end of the program. So that will be $1685 total. And if it's a great option for students who have never traveled before, who want to travel all together in a group, and only really plan to be in Europe for the program dates. If you're planning on staying longer traveling, I generally recommend that you book your own flights. You'll have a lot more flexibility in that aspect.
Paula, I also wanted to just reiterate on that last slide. I
Yes.
really encourage you to at least book the flight to Rome with the group, because what's so great about this is if you're with the group, you will have guidance to your hotel or your campus housing.
Right.
Otherwise, you're on your own. So I just want to make that clear. You may not want to be on your own once you land after such a long flight.
Right. What we can do is for students who want to stay longer and book their own flight, we can give them the details so that they can book it. What we would do though for the airport transfer, and that we would charge you the small fee for the airport transfer, just so you all know. Eligibility requirements. Kelly, if you would like to talk more about eligibility, application, all of that process.
Sure, of course. So you must be 18 years old to apply. There's no age limit after 18. And then being good academic standing, meaning GPA 2.25 or higher. There's no disciplinary action against you in our college record. So you will, after you apply and pay the deposit, I will walk you through the onboarding process. One step you will need to complete is have an interview with a professor. So yeah, it's pretty easy onboarding process. Most things are electronically, document to sign, and even the interview is via Zoom. So there's a lot of flexibility. Next slide, please. Okay, how to apply. So right here, the application, fill out the application, and it's a very easy application. I'd say our student assistant, Vanessa, tested out. She's making a video on how to submit the application. So it's fairly easy, only take probably 10 to 15 minutes to finish it. And then once you finish, then it will ask you to make a deposit. Once you pay the $450 deposit, the system will recognize you as your application is completed. Then I will receive a notification. Say your application has been received, you have paid deposit. I just post the application link in the chat. If you haven't applied already, please apply. And the space, as we mentioned, space is limited. We have just opened up the application like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and we already have received 7 application who have made deposit. So I highly encourage you to apply early to secure your spot, because if you are planning to go, why not apply now? The $450 deposit is refundable. I can post the link to you here. There's a refund policy. Our refund policy is very good. I can post that here. So the not payment, the application deadline is March 14. I think it will be filled way before that. So, yeah. S- as this slide said, apply by March 14, but your final payment deadline is April 11. I did have a question before asking about the flight. If they haven't decided to opt for the group flight, but they chose group flight for now, can they cancel? Yes, uh, by the certain deadline.
Yeah, I would I believe the flight deadline is a little earlier than the deposit deadline. So I would say by March 1st at the latest, you want to cancel, or else the airline will hold you responsible for the flight. So by March 1, to be safe, make sure that you decide on the flight or not.
Okay, by March 1st, if you would like to cancel
be
the
safe.
group flight. Yes.
Probably a little after that, but just to be safe.
Yes. And earlier, Paula mentioned we will have chance to meet together. So I post a document here in the chat where when you will meet with the group who will be going with you. We have two meetings. One is in April. Let's check. I have the date on the April 11. No. Oh, April 10, you will have a group meeting where I will provide lunch. So you will be making friends and before the trip and ask questions. And then you will have a second meeting. It's called a pre-departure orientation. That one is mandatory. That will be May 2nd. So check out the dates here. So next slide is some of the scholarship. There are quite a bit scholarship available. Kylie or Vanessa, please post the Gilman flyer in the chat. So Gilman Scholarship, that's a government issued scholarship. It awards up to $5,000. I'm hosting 2 info session and workshop next spring because the application will open up in January and we're hosting 2 in February. Make sure you join one of the sessions. Perhaps Vanessa post the Google form where they can RSVP. Maybe it's hard for them to scan the QR code. Just put the link of the RSVP form there. And then Fund for Education Abroad. This is this scholarship awards another. It's $5,000 as well. So the application will open up in spring. You will have chance to apply. Please join the interest list to this program if you haven't decided if you want to apply today. Then you will receive all the updated information when all the application open up. Vanessa, please post the interest list link in the chat. In addition to this scholarship listed here, we have a page on our website. I post in the chat named How to Pay. So there are ways how to pay, include other scholarship opportunity as well. If you do need a passport, I post the passport link here. Since you're interested in the Rome program, I can give you free passport photo that's worth about $25 if you take the photo at Walgreens. You book the appointment through me, I can give you a free photo. And I believe next slide we have creative funding ideas. Yeah, I love this. Besides apply for scholarship, you can have your own ways to raise funds. For example, from now to summer 2025, you still have a few months. Get another part-time job. Don't buy things that you don't need. Save up all your money. And I know Christmas coming, New Year's coming. Instead asking for a gift from your family or relatives, ask for money. Say if it's your study abroad fund. Ask them to contribute to your study abroad funding. So that way you can save up some extra money and do some other things. Christmas, you can do a bake sale and sell some homemade jewelries. I see a lot of people selling those bracelets, friendship bracelets, and other bracelets. They actually they sell on campus. On Skyline College, just yesterday or Tuesday, they had a holiday bling where they selling their homemade jewelries and other items. That's a great way to fundraise and use your social network, ask for support, and the GoFundMe account. And since we talked about how to write scholarship essay, you can use that skill to write a compelling story of why you want to study abroad in Rome, how this study abroad trip benefit you, and what would you do to give back to your society. And all these ideas, I'm sure even strangers, some of the strangers would donate money to you because you are making it's a you are benefiting from this program and you will make other people benefit from this program indirectly. So highly recommend. Yeah, this is our contact information. We also have two wonderful student ambassadors, Kylie and Vanessa. They studied abroad in Florence in spring 2024. They came back in May, and now they're working in our office. Um, we will open up for questions. And if you have questions regarding study abroad, regarding Italy, Vanessa and Kylie can answer your questions as well. And feel free to contact them. They can put their email in the chat if you have questions to them after this session. Feel free to unmute yourself to ask questions. Vanessa, Kylie, would you like to talk about your experience in Italy? Tell us, because you spent 3 months. You both spent 3 months in Italy. How was your experience there? I think you're muted.
Hi. So yeah, I went to Florence during the spring semester. It was quite a bit longer than the summer session. I think the summer session it was like a third of what
4 weeks summer session.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably like a third, but I had a really great time and Vanessa was actually my roommate. I got to visit Rome for a short weekend and honestly I wish I could have stayed longer. Rome's such like a big city. There's so much to explore and to see. There's so much history behind it. That goes the same for Florence as well, but I think the program is honestly going to be really great for all of you guys and I think everybody has a unique experience while exploring and everything, but overall the main thing is that it's very enriching and it's great to see different a different culture and different daily life and you get to meet a lot of great people and just adjusting to everything is a whole process that's tells you a lot about yourself and you get to see more of the world and everything, so I think it was a really great experience overall and I know it would be the same for all of you guys as well.
Thank you, Kylie, for sharing that. Feel free to unmute yourself if you have questions. This session is recorded, and then I will send you the recording after this meeting if you can go back to review it.